Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon. And I end up alone, I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect.
What's going on, everyone? Back with another video. I guess you could say this is kind of a face reveal because I really never show my face, but basically I'm going to be doing a review on my 2013 Mazdaspeed 3, currently fully bolted stock turbo. I'm just going to be talking about, you know, if it's worth buying it. Honestly, like, I really do love this car. There's a couple things that I don't like about it, but honestly, like, besides all that, I freaking love this car. It's a blast to drive. It's a great price, and I definitely think it's worth the investment. We're going to be talking about, like, how it drives, the look, certain quirks and features about the car, and I'm going to show you under the hood a little and see if it's a good buy for you. When you first look at this car, like, to the average person, this may look like a regular Mazda 3. They may not even know that it's turbocharged, but there's a couple of distinct features or designs where the Mazdaspeed 3 differs from the Mazda 3. So the first thing right here, you got the hood scoop for the top mount intercooler, which I actually threw out because they're trash. Front grille right here, it's a little different. Fog lights are a little different. So we have these 18-inch rims. These only come for the 2013 model. The 2010 to 2012s, they're the same wheels, but they're silver. But the 2013s, they came with a stock, nice gunmetal gray color. So moving on, we got the Mazdaspeed 3 spoiler. It's a lot more aggressive. It sticks a lot more than the regular Mazda 3 spoiler does. I really like the way this looks. I really don't like the way the Mazda 3 spoiler looks, because even then, when I had my Mazda 3, I threw in a Speedway. I know it's kind of rice, but whatever. But moving on down here, we got well, these actually come with like dual exhaust. The Mazda 3 2.5 come with that too, but all speeds come with the dual exhaust. Moving on to under the hood, so it's kind of got the same layout as the Mazda 3, just a little different. Obviously, there's different parts because this car is turbocharged. So, and I know my car is not the best representation of what it looks like because this is definitely not stock. But over here, the OEM top mount intercooler would sit right here. OEM KO4 would sit right there. Your air box would be right here, but your intake manifold right here. It's kind of the same layout as the Mazda 3, just a little different. But another thing that I want to talk about with the design of the car that I really actually like is just the body lines. I just really love how over here it just swoops all the way down. It looks really nice, and I also really love the paint on this car. The thing about these cars is the paint is very metallic. I have the Mazda likes to call it Velocity Red Mica. It looks really nice, and I try my best to keep the paint in good condition. Now I just want to move on to the rear. I just want to talk about a couple of key other things. I really like the rear valence right here. The only thing is, only in the 2013 models do these come a different color. They're actually not gloss black. I actually got this repainted. They come like some like weird like gray color. I'll probably throw in a picture right there. I also really like the taillights. They look pretty good. I have this VHT painted. You know, because it's a hatchback, you got the rear wiper. But so we're actually gonna move on to the interior. So sorry about it. It's kind of dirty. I got a lot of shit in there. But hopping in, as you can see, you got your steering wheel. It's got this like nice red stitching. I do really want a cork sport one. You got your 6-speed manual transmission. You got heated seats. You got dual climate control. That comes stock on all speeds, is the dual climate control. Only some trims come with the heated seats, which I really like. But yeah, guys, I got my Ionin head unit. That's aftermarket. The stock one's kind of shit, so I upgraded that. I really like this. I may make a video on this. Of course, we got my cob access port. Moving on to the interior, I actually want to talk about something that I don't really like about this car. Is you would think that because this is a hatchback, it's got a lot of room in the rear. I mean, it kind of does, but not really. But here, let me show you guys. So I'm around 6 feet tall, and I sit like pretty far back, and this is the amount of leg room that my passengers would get. So as you can see, my legs are literally hitting this, which it pisses off a lot of my friends. And yeah, I don't know. I wish it was a lot bigger. I don't know why guys like to say that there's a lot of leg room in the back. There's really not. I don't know what they're smoking or something, but yeah, there's not a lot of leg room. But you know, it's pretty nice. Another key feature that Mazda 3s don't have that the only speeds come with, as you can see, the stitching is kind of like this weird red color. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I like red and black, but some people don't like it. And another key thing is The seats are actually half leather and half cloth, which I actually really like because I don't like full leather seats. So I think it's a good mix, and yeah, as you can see, it's also got some red stitching right here. It's not the most high quality looking, but it looks pretty good. Even around the whole interior, you got red stitching over here, around the shifter, everywhere. I also want to show you guys how this car sounds. I'm not gonna fucking like fully two-step this shit. We're in a parking garage, and I'm not trying to get kicked out, but I'll get a start up, maybe a couple revs, but yeah, if you want to get closer there. I also want to talk about the trunk room. Since this is a hatchback, there's actually a shit ton of room here, unlike the back seats, but here, I'll just open this shit up right here. Okay, it may not look like there's a lot of space. There actually is a lot of space because I have so much shit in here. I got like my tools, I got my torque wrench, I got a fucking fold-out chair, all my shit, but as you can see, there's a lot of space here. Okay, so moving on how the car drives. Honestly, this car is super comfortable. Like for suspension, I'm running the iBox springs, but honestly, it rides just as good as stock, so I guess that gives you an accurate representation of how this car would drive like stock, even if it was on stock suspension. But yeah, it drives really good, handles really good, this car is really comfortable to drive. With the exhaust setup I'm running with the CP catted downpipe, magnetron catback, it's not that loud. It doesn't really drone on the highway a lot, but especially when I'm in the city, it really starts to pick up a lot. Okay, so we're just driving right now. We're actually approaching like a small tunnel, so maybe I'll give you guys a quick sound clip. So here. Holy shit. One thing that I really want to talk to you guys about, which I really like about the driving experience, is just how raw this car feels. The problem with newer cars nowadays is it feels too refined. It feels like it's being driven, you're driving like a computer. With this car, I feel like it's like the last true like hot hatch where like you get that raw driving experience. So what do I mean by the raw driving experience? Well, first of all, the fucking torque steer in this thing is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, honestly, it's not as bad as people say it is. I mean, once you get used to it, it's pretty easy to drive. It's pretty easy to get used to. Honestly, if you really can't handle it, I mean, fuck, I mean, I don't know, just learn how to drive. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, you do feel it, but you do get used to it. You really feel it in like second and third gear. Even sometimes like when you up the power, sometimes in fourth, maybe like the odd time. The power is always over there. As long as you're up like 3,500 RPM, as soon as you put your foot in the fucking gas pedal, this thing just fucking go. Cool. With regards to the clutch, I'm running a stock clutch. You don't really need to upgrade your clutch. I know on like the Honda Civic SIs and shit, you really gotta like upgrade it after, even after you do like a downpipe, but this stock clutch is good for about like, I'd say like 400 wheel horsepower. The one thing about it is it's kind of heavy. I've driven a lot of other cars where the clutches felt a lot lighter than this one. It kind of feels like an on and off switch when you're driving in bumper to bumper traffic. It kind of sucks, but honestly, it's really easy to drive and I really like it. So this car is my daily, and so you may ask, is this car a comfortable drive to drive every day? And I say absolutely yes. The seats are really comfy. You know, as I mentioned earlier, you got your dual climate control, you got your heated seats, got a nice stereo, gauges are really nice. Another thing I really want to talk about is the seats. The seats are actually really comfortable. As I said before, I'm an average size guy. I fit in perfectly. Like, it's nice and bolstered. It's a lot more bolstered than the Mazda 3 seats. They're really comfortable. My back doesn't hurt after a while. I've been on a lot of road trips. It's really comfortable, and yeah. So we actually have my buddy in the car with me recording a video. Shout out Henny. I actually just wanted to ask him a question. So is this car comfortable to be in, like in the passenger seat?
Yeah, I would say so.
Is it like too loud, or like is it too stiff? What do you think?
No, I think it's perfect.
Oh shit, hey, there you go. Fucking camera guy thinks it's perfect. So moving on to fuel economy, I live in Canada, so the number is going to be a little different, but on my gauge it says around like 10.7 liters per 100. Honestly, if you don't have a heavy foot, I'd say you can get under 10, but yeah, it's pretty good. For the fuel tank range, if you're doing mostly highway, I'd probably say you can get around like 500 to 600 kilometers if it's all highway, but on average, since I do a lot of city, I'd say I get around like 400 kilometers to mostly a full tank, but so for gas, I usually fill up on Shell 91. I mean, I should probably use 94, but whatever. I like filling up at Shell. It's right by my house. I'm actually, if you guys didn't know, I'm actually fully tuned by Freak Tune, pushing around 22 pounds of boost with the stock turbo, and I'm tuned on 91. But yeah, it's not that expensive to fill up. I mean, yeah, you're not paying that much. The tank is pretty small, but yeah, it works pretty good. I also wanted to give a quick talk about the gauges. I actually really like the gauges, but the thing is, I like the older ones, so like the 2010 to 2011. It's got like this blue and orange color that I like more than this. I mean, this is pretty good, but it's obviously a lot better than the regular Mazda 3 one. As I said before, you got your boost gauge, you got your gas right here, and yeah. We also got these gauges right here. So basically, this is for the right side is for your dual climate control, and then on the left it shows you your average fuel economy, your average speed. You can also change it. So I mean, this one doesn't really work that well. You can show your range. It's pretty accurate. And audio off. You can also like set your maintenance, your preferences and shit. It works pretty good. I mean, it's pretty basic, but you know, it's pretty good. Another thing I really like about this car is when you drive, it just makes a lot of cool sounds, like the exhaust noises, the turbo noises and shit. It's kind of hard to get it while I'm driving, so I'm just gonna get my buddy to take a couple clips.
Oh my god, is that a Honda Civic? Fuck.
So another thing I want to talk about is that there's actually no rev hang on it, so the shifts are pretty smooth. And I also really like the shifter, so I actually don't have any like short shifter plate. I only have shifter bushings and the shifter weight, but I really like the throws. They're pretty long, which I actually really like, so you always know exactly what gear you're in. It shifts really smoothly, and yeah. So you may be asking yourself, is this the car for you? Well, it's a sleeper, it's cheap, it's reliable. The aftermarket support is quite insane. The community is really good. Honestly, I'd say it's a good buy. You know, like they're kind of similar to like Subarus or any other Japanese tuner cars, but I really like this one just because it's different. You don't really see them on the road. Maybe one day they'll show up in value, but so for reliability with this car, honestly, it depends on the owner. So if you're the kind of guy who just throws on parts, doesn't really tune the car, just kind of does whatever, you beat the shit out of it, yeah, this car's gonna treat you like shit. I just look at it as if like this, like if you treat the car right, it'll treat you. As long as you do the proper mods, you know, you start with your access port, your high pressure fuel pump internals. I'll probably make another video on like a mod guide to like modding your car properly, but yeah, if you tune for it, you know, you change the oil regularly, you do your maintenance, this car will treat you really good. There's some guy in the forums, I've seen him have like 400,000 kilometers. Like that's pretty insane. Honestly, it all depends on the owner, and sometimes you get unlucky and shit, but I'd say overall this is a really reliable car. Also, it's pretty easy to get parts. Parts are cheap. My recommendation would to be join a lot of Facebook groups. That's where I find all like my used parts. You save a lot of money buying used parts, whether it be aftermarket or stock ones. There's always guys parting out their cars, whether they blew up their shit or they're just trying to move on to something new. I'll talk about what makes this car different. Like I said before, this car is really rare. You know, you'll notice that a lot of guys won't take you seriously, like, because they don't really know what your car is all about. This car is a legit sleeper, especially if you get like a Gen 1 Mazdaspeed 3 or a Mazdaspeed 6. They're pretty reliable. The community's small. I mean, don't be that guy in the forums that asks what oil you should run. My recommendation is 5W40, so that's either Rotella T6 or I usually run the Motul 5W40, but yeah, it's a great car. It's a great community. It's a fun platform. You're gonna hurt a lot of feelings because, especially like the Subaru guys, like they just talk so much shit, and like they just don't know what these cars are made of until they, you know, they get gapped by fucking speeds on the freeway. They just think it's a regular Mazda 3, but yeah, bro. As for like what kind of speed you should buy, honestly, I would opt for one that's preferably bone stock, because odds are if it's been modded to shits and then he kind of parted out, hopefully the guy didn't beat the shit out of it, but you don't want that. You ideally want to buy it from someone who's owned the car rather than the dealership. I mean, I bought mine from a dealership, but I mean, I got pretty lucky with mine, but honestly, I would buy it from an owner, especially from a guy who knows his shit, so he can tell you how often he changes oil, what has he done to the car, what does he use his car for, does he track it, does he daily, is it a show car, all those questions. And as for price, They're pretty cheap right now. I would opt for a lower mileage one, obviously. I mean, I've noticed a lot of speeds, the high mileage one are all like highway driven ones, but they're pretty cheap. I would get one while you can. I've heard rumors that one day they're gonna go up in value because Mazdaspeed is just completely dead, and especially with Mazda, they're just going with the new Mazda 3 turbos and shit. One day these cars are going up in value, so I would definitely get it now while you can, because yeah, it's also really hard to find a good one, but just keep your eye open. As for the handling, honestly, this car handles really good. I took it to the track for my first time ever, and honestly, I was really surprised. If you're running for brakes, I'm just running some max brakes. They're pretty good, they're pretty cheap, they do the job. And for tires, I'm running the Indy 500s, but yeah, honestly, this car handles really good. It takes corners really good. Honestly, fuck that front wheel drive is being shit bullshit. Honestly, this car is fun. Torque steer's amazing, and yeah, you're really gonna notice that it takes corners really good. But definitely if you get coolers or something like that, it'll be a lot better. But even just for like the stock suspension, it still handles really good. As for winter driving, as this is my daily, honestly, get some good snow tires. Don't be that cheap guy that runs all season tires or get some piece of shit tires. Get good winter tires, Blizzaks, Michelin, X-Ice 3s, whatever they're called. This car handles really good. The only problem that I really noticed is in first gear. First and second gear, it's a little spinny, like the wheels spin a lot, but after you get that, I mean, it handles pretty good as long as you know what you're doing. I mean, this car handles great in the snow. It's not the best thing in the world. It's not all-wheel drive. It is front-wheel drive at the end of the day, but yeah, it handles pretty good. It's good enough. So that about wraps up my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, I hope I covered up everything. Honestly, this is a great car. Just find a good one that's like relatively stock from a personal owner rather than a dealership. Dealerships kind of try to rip you off. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate all the feedback you guys have been giving me. All that shit goes a long way. But yeah, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Hollywood perfect.